How could I forget? How could I forget? How could I forget? Hello, YouTube. Sorry about the last video. I actually had something to do, but how could I forget? So, excuse me. So, it is 11:09, so I'm trying to hurry up and do this. Um, yeah. So, today is Emmett Till's 83rd birthday. Emmett Louis Till is a young African American teenager. Well, he was back in 1955. He was a young African American teenager who was wrongfully, how can I put this? We can't say he was lynched. He was wrongfully, brutally beaten and killed after allegedly whistling and flirting and sexually assaulting a white woman by the name of Carolyn Bryant during a trip to Money, Mississippi, I believe. He went with, I believe it was his great uncle, if I'm not mistaken. He went with a great uncle and cousins to Money, Mississippi. Hold on. No, I don't want to keep saying Money, Miss. I'm gonna just say that he went with family members to Mississippi, different spots in Mississippi. Because I keep saying Money, Mississippi, but no, I believe there were different spots in Mississippi. So anyway, he went to Mississippi to visit to hang out with family. Went to a store, um, and different stories were said, but he allegedly whistled, sexually assaulted, and flirted with Carolyn Bryant. She, I guess, chased him out the store, pulled the gun out. 3 days later, he was kidnapped from his uncle's house and never heard from again. When anyone in the family seen him, the next time they seen him, he was dismembered and thrown into the Tallahatchie River, where his only identification was the ring still on his finger with his father initials engraved into it. There was word that couldn't nobody tell if the body was of an African American. There was word that the family did something with the body and put the ring on the body and make it seem like it's a whole bunch of he say she say when it comes to the story. He never got justice. There was word that, well, some famous writer or whatever the case may be said that he done an interview with Carolyn Bryant and she said that she pretty much lied about what had taken place. Let me screen share this because I don't want to show too much on my Twitter, but I could at least show this much. So this is a picture, different pictures of Emmett Till as a baby and in his teenage years. This is from the Emmett Till Legacy Foundation Twitter page. The Twitter page is Emmett Till. It says pause for a moment of silence right now. Say hashtag Emmett Till, well, Emmett Till's name, and say the names of those lives have been stolen by violence, racism, and hatred. Happy 83rd birthday, Emmett Till. We will continue to keep his memory and legacy alive. Hashtag Till Legacy Family. Um, so, yes. There's word that, like I said, a famous writer claimed that he did some interview. I think he wrote a book about it, but he did some interview, whatever the case may be, claiming that claiming that Carolyn said that she pretty much lied about what actually happened. She don't remember what actually happened. Well, at least everything that actually happened. And Priest said no matter what happened, um, Emmett shouldn't have been beaten and killed or whatever the case may be. Then there was word that people in Carolyn's family said that it's a lie. She never said that. It's a whole bunch of bullshit with the Bryant family. Um, I'm pretty sure a lot of us know the story of Emmett Till. Um, yes, I'm pretty sure everybody knows the story of Emmett Till. Y'all heard his name, seen his pictures. These are the more innocent pictures. I do not want to show any pictures relating to his death. Um, at all. But I will say that he was kidnapped from his uncle's house 3 days after the so-called whistling incident. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Um, from my understanding, from what I will say is he went to the store. I guess he went to the store to get bubble gum. Now, mind you, we all can say that um, before leaving, his mother did tell him how to behave. I'm pretty sure you can watch the movie, the Women of the Movement series that had taken place. There's plenty of ways y'all can figure out what happened. So he went to the store. I guess he went to go get bubble gum, and he asked for bubble gum or however the situation may happen. They claim that words were said, some flirtation, talk about he's been with white women before. He got a white girlfriend. He so-called showed a picture of a white woman that was in his wallet. Uh, some flirtation, some grabbing, and all of that so-called going on. Once he left the store, Carolyn walked out. Um, they seen that some bullshit was going down, so the cousins tried to tell him to come on so they can leave before anything further happens. And they claim that he wolf whistled at her. However, the whistle may go. And she went to the car, pulled out a gun. They scattered. They claimed that a car was chasing them, but as they stopped and pulled over, the car went by. So they didn't think nothing of it after a while. They carried on like nothing happened. 3 days later, y'all know the rest. He was taken to the shed, brutally beaten. We don't know if the shooting had taken place inside the shed. Many, like I said, many stories are different. Everyone telling different stories about what could have happened. Um, so ain't no telling if he was shot inside the shed where they beat him at, or if they waited until they got to the river, shot him, and then threw the body over the bridge after tying the gin fan around his neck. Um, then once again, I think probably like 3 to 5 days later, his body was found by some people that was fishing. They seen legs sticking up out the water. His uncle had to identify the body. They tried to have a funeral in Mississippi, but the mother was not having that once she got the news of what happened to Emmett. Um, so she forced the body to be sent to Chicago, where she had a funeral. And um, what do you call them? The people that do the touch up or whatever at the funeral home. Anyway, so she had her own little viewing to identify the body, and she said that she did not want nothing done to the body. She wanted to have an open casket funeral so the world could see what they did to her son. But the person who does the touch up or whatever the case may be, he ended up fixing it up, fixing Emmett Till up, although it was still a gruesome view. Um, it's a lot that goes on with the story. It's a lot. I don't want to keep making this all about his death, whatever the case may be. Um, as y'all can see, he was a handsome young guy. Um, it looked like he had hazel eyes. I can't really tell, but his eyes do look colored from my understanding. Um, he don't really look fat to me. They just calling him a chubby kid or whatever the case may be, or the fat kid or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, he was very well dressed, always smiling. It was said that he had stuttering issues, or maybe he had a lisp or something like that, and he had trouble pronouncing words that start with B. And his mother told him to whistle, so that probably is why he whistled, if any whistling happened. Um, Now that I think about it, and like I said, I don't want to keep referring to his death or going to his death. But now that I think about it, since we are talking about Emmett Till, um, as I'm thinking about it, what really could have happened in the store, and how long was he in the store? Because clearly, if that's the case, and his mother said that well, it was said that he had problems pronouncing words that start with B and usually will whistle. If that's the case, that's why I asked how long was he in the store and what actually happened in the store, because everybody got different stories about what could have happened or what didn't happen in the store. But did he actually ask Carolyn Bryant for some bubble gum? Or was the bubble gum already in some little jar or something and he just had to grab how many pieces he wanted, take it to the counter and pay for it? How did this situation go? None of us know because everyone is telling different stories. But I'm just thinking this way because what if he did have to ask for bubble gum and he was having trouble pronouncing it? Because um I watched the Women of the Movement series, and I don't think that they really alluded to how is that the right word you could say? I don't really, I don't really think that they made it seem like he had stuttering issues in the Women of the Movement series. But when I was watching the movie too, there was a one scene in the beginning where I guess his mom and him was talking, and it seemed like that they was trying to allow him to say bullying, but since he couldn't pronounce it, he just changed it to Pickens. So that's about the only scene that I do remember. Any stuttering or something that could have occurred. Um, but then again, at the end of the day, how do we know? I mean, how do we know what conversations Emmett and his mother had? Uh, any situations that may have taken place? Things Emmett Till may have said. We don't know. So if any movies and stuff is done, that's just people using their own imagination on what conversations could have been like, or how Emmett Till could have been around certain family members, whether it was his mom, his grandmom, cousins, uncle, aunt, whoever. We don't know. Um. But anyway, happy birthday, happy 83rd birthday to Emmett Till. My prayers continue to go out to the Till family. What happened to you was out of violence, racism, and hatred. I wish that you could have gotten justice. I wish your family could have gotten justice. And I am pretty sure there are a lot more stories. Some we may know of, and some we may not. I know when it comes to situations like this, what have happened to Emmett Till. That also includes the whole Rosa Parks situation, because there's a lot of people on YouTube claiming that Rosa Parks was not the first African American woman to have refused to give up her seat on a bus, train, whatever. There's a lot of people saying there were plenty of incidents where black women were arrested or they had to deal with consequences for refusing to give up their seat to a white passenger. But that's a whole nother story. Um, I also want to take this time to share my condolences and my thoughts, love, and prayers and hugs, not only to Emmett Till, but I also want to show love to his mother, Mammy, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. I want to show love to his mother. I want to give my condolences to his father, grandmother, the mother's husband, the like everybody in that family. I just want to give my love to because this situation is very heartbreaking. And we all know the story. I'm pretty sure we didn't read books about it. We didn't did projects in school or heard about the Emmett Till story in school. It was all over the news and magazines, on TV. People are still talking about Emmett Till to today. As you can see, it's his birthday. Um, if I could fully remember I don't remember when I first heard of the Emmett Till story or the first time I ever heard about who he was. It probably was in school or something like that, or maybe listening to stories that my great grandparents told me. But what I do remember is after hearing about the Emmett Till story and stuff like that, my uncle Benny in the house he still live in the house today. But some years ago, I remember um, I didn't really always have to do projects. I just make excuses if I wanted to get out the house and go to somebody's house that had a computer, whatever the case may be. Anyway, so I end up letting it be known, well, claiming that I had to do a project, and I remember me and my family was down the basement, and well, we were down my Uncle Benny basement. Pretty much, I was on the computer searching up the Emmett Till story, and I remember looking at the pictures and then looking at the pictures of his death, and that was my first time that I ever remember even really paying attention to it and really seeing everything. And I just remember on our ride back home, me just looking out the window, and I had all these different thoughts in my head. Um, like it was many different thoughts. Like, what if the world was still like that? Emmett Till could have been any of us. Um, like I just had a whole bunch of different crazy thoughts in my head, but most of it was pretty much like him, just wondering like what actually happened, not just what happened in the store, but what happened when they caught him. Like I said, many stories tell. I mean, people tell different stories. Um, some say that Carolyn Bryant. One story say that Carolyn Bryant was actually in the car the night that they went to go kidnap Emmett from his great uncle's house, and like it was a pickup truck, and they pretty much gripped his face up, put it to the window as Carolyn turned her head around. They asked her, was he the one who did the talking? And she let it be known that yes, it was him, and that's how they knew that Emmett Till was the right guy. Then other stories say that they probably took him to a store or took him somewhere where she was located to get word that it was him. So they didn't think that they ended up grabbing the wrong person. There's also a story that say that they actually did go up to this one boy, beat him up a little bit, and took him to be identified by Carolyn Bryan, but she let it be known that he was the wrong boy. And people were doing some talking, and that's how they found out that the boy who did the talking or the whistling was related to Moses Wright, because Moses Wright, who's Emmett Till's great uncle, was a preacher or something like that, and that's how they knew where he lived, and they knew what house to go to, and they waited to the wee hours of midnight to go to the house and do the kidnapping. Crazy, right? Um, Watching Till, the movie Till, one thing I will say, I said before and I say it again, I'm pretty sure a lot of people who done reviews to that movie will say it. When you're doing the movie on Emmett Till, I believe is right. It is only right to share the full story because it's his story and it's what's right. A lot of people had their criticism towards the Till movie due to the fact that um they did not show the beating. Um, when I did see the Till movie, they showed the full kidnapping, and after the whole kidnapping scene take place, and the family is standing out on the porch, just in disbelief that he was kidnapped. You see the outside of I guess you call it a barn or shed or whatever the case may be, is dark, and you could just hear like a couple of seconds of screams, and the attackers yelling or whatever the case may be. And they also claimed that they didn't want to show too much of the attackers, Roy, what, whatever they fucking names were. They didn't want to show too much of their faces. Um, but for y'all who watch Women of the Movement, they show everything, and that's a lot more gruesome than the Till movie. Now, yeah, the Till movie does show the aftermath of what happened. Um, but Women of the Movement show everything. Um, And yeah, watching Women of the Movement was a big tearjerker. Very, very, very emotional. I mean, they show everything. And I'm pretty sure it's still on Hulu and many other places you shall be able to watch it. That was hard to get through. And the crazy thing about it is I done watched the episodes multiple times. I don't see how I got through it, but yeah, it was hard to watch. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm just going to finish it off by once again saying happy 83rd birthday. Let's keep Emmett Till family in our prayers. Let's give our condolences to Emmett, his mother, and all of those who we lost in the Till family. Um, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll get back to you on the next video.